Welcome to Go Home Heat, a wrestling podcast. We have Jushin or Justin.
Yeah, whichever.
Okay.
I answer everything.
We're going to talk about Raw and SmackDown right here. Let's get into it. I hear voices in my head as we start Raw. Also, that is the theme song to Randy Orton. So he comes out and he gives you the standard, I'm Randy Orton, I'm the champ, and they don't know what they're getting into if they're messing with me. Alexa Bliss shows up.
I like the whole line he did, though, the whole, I'm no longer the legend killer, I'm a legend.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Absolutely perfect. And it is the correct transition for him.
Mm-hmm.
And and you just had him go through a program where he eliminated all the legends. Of course, they came back to haunt him. But still, there's really nobody out there in the wrestling world that he can wrestle that's bigger than him.
No.
Or even on his level until Edge is healthy. And even Edge, there was 15 years or whatever that Edge wasn't active.
Yeah.
That Randy was still continuing a legacy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so then Alexa shows up, gives him the two hands, the innocence, the pain, play.
Uh-huh.
Removes the play. Pain is there. We assume that means, I think she even says,
he could be here.
He could be here. Lights go out, maybe go red and then out, or out and then red. And then, of course, Drew comes in and kicks him in the head, which is a swerve.
Yeah. She's
gone. I believe if you look closely, you can see her hide under the ring as all this is going on. Of course, as Drew is leaving after chewing him out, Miz and Morrison hit the ring.
To cash.
Yes. And it is amazing what we've done to this heavyweight title picture. All of a sudden you went from I don't know what I went from I'm completely bored with Randy Orton and Drew McIntyre to The Fiend, Drew, Miz with Morrison helping.
Yeah. Everybody's fighting each other.
Now it's a completely different, and it's amazing what a program can do for a show.
Yeah.
SmackDown, Roman Reigns shows 100% better.
Yeah.
This show, you enter The Fiend in and you put him into a mix and so now you have a common thread through every show. You go back to it periodically. And so the good segments in the show are that much better because you're something else. They're coming off of something good. The bad segments in the show don't hurt as bad. You raised your floor.
Yes.
Just by having one good program going through the whole thing.
Keeps everything moving in the right direction.
Absolutely. Now, Miz and Morrison are out there. And Drew realizes he's about to lose the opportunity to take that belt off of Randy, so he goes out there and clears the ring.
Because, of course, you'd much rather face Randy Orton
than The Miz.
I know about that.
If you're Scottish rules.
Yes.
You always want to take the tougher, those Scots.
Yeah. You pick the toughest guy, the biggest guy in the yard. Headbutt him the first day.
And then you claymore him.
R.I.P. Sean Connery.
Yes. Okay, so then he clears the ring out, and then backstage after the commercial, whatever, we get Charlie talking to The Miz, and boy, they're mad, and they wind up challenging Drew to a fight that we know for a fact there's no way Drew could ever win.
No, it's two guys versus Drew McIntyre.
Yeah, he's in for it now.
They're a tag team, Kevin.
They have been tag team champions
multiple times.
Yes, Morrison has actually been a champion all over the world.
Yes, multiple companies.
Yes, absolutely. Maybe the greatest athlete.
The Miz headlined WrestleMania.
Yes. Well,
he was there.
Actually, he was the co-star.
Mm-hmm.
The star was The Rock.
Yeah, we all know. But he was there.
Elias is ready to sing now, and he's alone in the ring with the guitar and a pole match coming, of course. Even though he has a #1 album, we don't let him finish his song. We have a match here.
I want to know if Judy Bagwell approved this match.
Oh, my God. Judy Bagwell on a forklift match. Nothing makes me cringe more when people disrespect Bischoff like that and call it Judy Bagwell on a pole match.
Yes.
Because he did not do that.
No, he didn't.
It was bad enough
Yes.
what he really did do. You don't have to add on there
The poll.
that she was a dancer of some kind.
Yeah, because you didn't want to see
didn't really
that.
happen. It didn't happen, Okay, so anyway, Elias winds up throwing a stool at Hardy at some point. And
This was a good little match.
It was, and we forget how good Elias is at wrestling because he's always in
Goofball.
weird stuff.
Yeah.
Nothing's ever legit with him, but he's really good at wrestling, and he's a physical guy, and he's athletic, and it just so happens he's a guitar playing guy.
Yes.
But of course, it comes down to the classic twist of fate, guitar to the back.
That
finish.
guitar did not give like I thought it was supposed to. Did it look funny?
He was so mad it didn't. He went and broke it over to post, the ring post, because it didn't break. Cause exactly. The whole point of the match is kind of to have the explosion on Elias's back, right? And we didn't get that. Although I enjoyed the segment.
Yes.
But it would have been cooler if it explodes like it's supposed to.
He should have got one of those Esteban guitars.
Well, what? You know what
Does anybody
happened?
remember Esteban? You remember Esteban?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's why I always thought the guitars they bought must have bought all those.
Well, they should have. They probably in this particular scenario had, because he was playing it before, had to give him a real one.
Oh yeah, it's not what you want.
Right. You want Jeff Jarrett's.
Yes. Slap nuts.
Ugh, slappy. Okay. The victimization of Elias continues. Joe says in commentary. I like Joe
gold.
getting to root for the bad guy the whole time.
Yes.
Because he's like that anyway. Women's tag team title match. Baszler and Jax versus Dana and Mandy with Lana.
Who I don't think was with them by choice. Like, they knew she was with them, really.
I did feel like Mandy and Dana gave a pretty good account of themselves here.
I did too.
I was pleasantly surprised by that. Lana tries to distract everybody.
To put over Mandy and Dana.
Right, but then winds up butting heads with Dana, right? And then
Yeah.
that turns into Baszler.
Hitting her with the Karafuda clutch.
Right, choking her out.
Yeah.
Which is the way I think everything should have gone. And I don't know what they're doing here, but I do know that Mandy and Dana should not beat them head up.
No, not yet.
Or ever.
Or ever.
Something weird should happen for them to win. Or an implosion.
Yeah.
And Lana is a character currently that is supposed to be in scenarios where she screws things up.
Yes.
And goes through tables, which we'll get to. Okay. But now we have all four members of a 5-man team for Survivor Series furious with Lana going into a match that Nia will challenge her to later on in the evening.
Yeah.
Where Lana gets to get pummeled again for the sake of Miro.
You spoiled it for me.
Oh, we'll get there. Charlie interviews Randy, the hunter, the hunted. Gonna remind Drew what the 3 most dangerous words in sports entertainment are.
Letters.
R.
R.
Yeah,
R. Pirates.
Oh. Okay, maybe it's
Worst
letters.
Yeah.
But stop me if you've heard this before. R-Truth with a match versus Bobby Lashley, which
he was not aware of.
He thought it was Bobby Boucher from the famed Waterboy. He was getting
sign
autographs, correct, and it turned out it was Bobby Lashley, which threw him off.
That is not a good exchange.
Right, because it's the difference between coming to work and not coming to work.
Yeah.
Whether you're fighting Bobby Lashley or not.
Uh-huh.
And so he gets into the match, of course, and Gulak comes down.
After he's already been beaten.
Yeah, it was squash for Lash. He gets him in the full Lashley. He's done. And Gulak wants to get involved, and Lashley has none of that. But for whatever reason, he's still mad at Truth for getting beat up. And so he beats up Gulak, throws Gulak on top of Lashley for the 1, 2, 3, right?
Yes.
Something happened right there.
Things happened. Bobby Lashley was involved.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Linz Eldorado and Grand Metalik are going to go to the ring to get the 24/7 title since everybody there is unconscious. But they happen to run into the belly button of AJ's associate, who's also headed to the ring and choose a different path, probably back to the car.
Yes.
I don't.
If they stood on each other's shoulders, do you think they would be as tall as that guy?
No. No, but I don't think that guy can do a Conrada either.
No, he can't. That's why he's in a suit.
That is exactly why he's in a suit. Nia, that's the thing where she gets mad and challenges old girl to a match. AJ is going to mold this team into his likeness, which
They're
is
going to have
greatness.
great hair.
Yes. Which is going to be hard for Keith Lee and Sheamus.
And
Especially Braun Strowman,
yes.
who comes out and wants to be a part of the club, but in a very mean way. Keith Lee, of course, doesn't want anything to do with him. Sheamus doesn't want anything to do with him. And so then we wind up with AJ coming up with the great concept of let's have a triple threat match. And I thought this match was very good. Adam
great big
Pearce
man
signs
match.
off on it. AJ's on commentary. Keith Lee tried to do a flip over the top rope and braced himself with the back of his head on a ring apron, which is
not exactly the place I would have used.
It isn't the normal way you do it.
No.
But it worked for him.
Yes.
I wouldn't recommend it. Him and Kota Ibushi
are the only two people's neck muscles probably
that survived that bump right there.
Good Lord.
It was awful. God.
It was awful.
But the rest of it was really, really good.
How crazy is this match when Sheamus is by far the smallest dude in this match?
And maybe not that much weaker than the rest of them?
No.
I'm just amazed at Sheamus's level of work lately.
Yeah.
I really can't, it's whenever that title picture clears up a little bit, any of them, whether U.S. or, the U.S. or he needs to be involved in something. He's really, really good.
Top notch.
Yeah, and he's getting better and better every time he's out there. They did an electric chair suplex, which seemed like probably...
Dude.
Couldn't believe they didn't bother to unscrew the ring a little bit there.
Yeah, and make it bounce.
Yeah, to have the whole thing just collapse.
Yeah.
But they didn't, and... because I was looking for it. When I saw him setting it up, I was looking for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought maybe when AJ was like, I can't believe the ring didn't collapse. We said something to that effect. Like, maybe they gimmicked it and it didn't gimmick. But
You may be right on that. So the finish winds up being Lee has Braun dead to rights. Sheamus kicks Keith Lee in the head with a bro kick. Braun winds up scooping Sheamus for the running slam. And now we have Braun, AJ, Sheamus, and Keith Lee, which seems incredibly dysfunctional, but also...
if you got them all pointing in the same direction, incredibly powerful.
Even if not, I mean, Lord have mercy.
Yeah.
That's a lot of really talented mass and then probably the best wrestler on the planet.
Yeah.
So in theory, if this whole thing was normal, what could you do with them, right?
Oh, yeah. That's why you got to have dysfunction.
Well, and in reality, how on earth would you ever actually even get Keith Lee's shoulders down with his belly the way it is?
Yeah.
Lay on him, and I don't know how you'd do that. You'd have to roll him up, really pin him.
You have to be really big.
And he's a bowling ball, so you just roll back over. Okay. Okay. Angel Garza is weaving his love to the world.
He has
a rose for someone. He's what?
You remember Christopher Walken on Saturday Night Live back in the day? The Continental. Would you like some champagne? That is, yeah.
That's a good one.
I'm going to call it right now. It's Nia Jax. That's who he's giving rose to.
It's got to be. From the last episode, the way she looked at him and then rolled her eyes at Baszler, it's going down. And I'm all for it, by the way.
I think that's hilarious. Go with it.
Mm-hmm. Drew McIntyre, Randy has a 6'5" attractive Scotsman guardian angel, which is creepy all in itself.
It's either really creepy or it's the plot line of your next Harlequin romance.
Drew McIntyre could be on the cover of a Harlequin romance.
I've said that before. He is like you printed off one of those guys.
Yeah. Some people I work with read them, and the kitchen manager. And it's always a big hairy chested guy on the cover, which is great.
With a great beard.
Yeah. Well, you got,
the long hair. The highwayman.
Love is inspirational.
Yes.
Find it where you can. Okay. Do we get to the Firefly Funhouse where we have, again, a 3 most important letters thing? Sister Abigail.
After what he did to us, Randy Orton can go bleep himself.
Correct. After Bray is talking about his greatness, and then Sister Abigail interjects that he can go F himself. And then that's going to cost her money in the swear jar, which she lets them know that they can go F themselves as well. And I felt like this was pointed commentary on Sister Abigail's part because in theory, Randy burnt up a house that she was in,
Yes.
and now she's a puppet.
Yeah.
So I probably wouldn't be cool with him either.
No. She's got some legitimate.
I'm not in favor of cussing on TV,
No.
but if we're going to do it, it should have to do with you being burned to death and then turned into a puppet.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
I think you
what
have.
a trade-off.
I think you have fair, legitimate grievances to air here.
Yeah, absolutely. And then Alexa's face turns, the room turns red, and her eyes turn a different color, and some form of red liquid seeps out of her mouth. I thought originally that this was her tongue or like a Gene Simmons thing, but it looked like almost like a
ooze. It looks like the ooze from Ghostbusters 2.
Or if it had been green, it could have been a Ninja Turtle reference.
Yes.
But either way, there's some form of evil that is seeping out of her.
Yes.
Which is always fun.
Always good stuff.
Mixes things up when there's
and
evil.
Bray Wyatt's reaction.
Yeah, he cussed too.
Yeah. Oh, bleep.
Yes, absolutely. Lots of flying cuss words here on this
Yes.
segment. Tongue-in-cheekness. Now, the key takeaway from this is that the past is in the past, Drew says, but unfortunately, it can't be that simple.
You mean Bray?
Bray.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Unfortunately, it just can't be that simple. He's not going to forget what you've done. And then we move on because we have a classic battle between Nia Jax and Lana, which is somewhat of a squash. If by somewhat of a squash you mean squash.
A complete and utter squash?
Yes. Samoan drop was not nearly enough. After the 1, 2, 3, we do it through. She goes through her 7th straight week of tables. And as Justin knows, I just thought to myself, well, maybe I'm watching this all wrong and she's not. And Nia's putting her own butt through the table and not. But then as I replayed it, I realized that no, Lana is the first thing hitting that table every week.
Blam!
Good for Lana.
Yeah.
Earning it. Miro, you see what you've done.
What have you done, Miro?
Yes. R-Truth gets heckled backstage by the Hurt Business, but does get an autographed bottle.
Yes.
From the Hurt Business, which is great. It's MVP Lounge time. They want payment for having done away with Retribution. The New Day comes out, and Woods makes the age jokes to Sheldon.
Oh.
I remember when I used to get in trouble because I had a test in the 7th grade and I wanted to stay up and watch your match. I stayed up too late. And but that was in reference to them making fun of the fact that the New Day had been on the scene for so long and that Kofi was old.
Uh-huh.
So I thought that was okay. Fair play there. Unfair.
Yeah, Xavier comes back with the save there.
Unfair play was when they mentioned that they were told Bobby could only do 8 seconds because I don't believe that was ever really a thing to begin with. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
See, I don't think Bobby and Lana were real.
No.
I don't.
You don't think so?
I don't. I think that was all part of the script. I do.
True love, Kevin. You're cynical in nature.
Yes, I am. Cynical in nature. Although I do firmly believe that the Riot Squad girl,
yes, Liv
Morgan, was in love with Lana.
Yes.
Firmly believe that.
You just want to believe that.
Moving right along, we do wind up with a match, and this is fantastic. Kofi, Woods, Alexander, Benjamin, dueling monkey flips. So much freaking talent in this ring.
Ring together?
Oh, my God. Kofi and Sheldon are probably two of the top physical gifts in the last 20 years.
Yes.
And then Woods is an amazing wrestler. Cedric is really athletically inspired. If you take away size, on a different level than even those guys.
Yes.
And so to have them giving us a performance like this, I mean, I'd pay for 20 minutes of a Cedric versus Woods match alone.
Yeah.
You know, and it was great. And Kofi springboards off the top rope, turns that into a Hurricane Rana, stomp, SOS, blind tag, middle rope DDT, all this great stuff. Sheldon flips into a spine buster. The fast finish was great. Springboard cutter into the pay dirt, 1, 2, 3, and we have ourselves a rivalry as the Hurt Business goes over. And I love it. You're giving me the 4 best athletes that you can put in the ring together that aren't named John Morrison. and you're going to give me a program with it.
Yep.
And one is the uber baby face, and one is the uber heel.
Uh-huh.
And I just love it.
Plus, you got a bunch of other moving parts around there that you can add in to make stuff cool.
Absolutely. Because the promos aren't going to be Cedric and Sheldon.
No!
The promos are going to be Woods and MVP.
Yes.
Which makes it even better.
Yes. Thank you.
Yes, absolutely. Now, Nikki wants to know what's up with Alexa. She walks over there, and Alexa has the spooky eyes, and she gets out of there. Nikki does, because, if somebody looks at you with evil eyes.
No, you're good.
As in, they're not the right color.
No.
Although, I think they're contacts.
What?
Pulling the old
wool over our eyes?
I'm pulling back the wall there, the curtain. Yeah.
I don't know, dude.
That's the reality of it.
I think that's demonic possession.
You're probably right. Okay. Because you know what? I didn't think about the red ooze.
Yeah.
It is demonic possession.
Obviously.
100%. Tucker versus Ricochet. Up next. Mustafa Ali comes out. Okay, so Ricochet gets a squash match with the newly bad guy, Tucker. You had some issue with that, I thought?
I just didn't think it made any sense for anybody involved. I was like, where did this come from?
Okay, now do you want me to just throw my hat in the ring?
Sure, tell me.
In my weekly defense of Retribution.
Yes, please save them.
And it's tough because now it's getting to the point where I'm having to just make things up.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. This harkens back to when Retribution started, even before then, when I told you there needed to be a faction with...
Oh, yeah, we all said this.
With Ali and Ricochet in it.
Yeah.
This is the feud. What they were doing is they're getting to a feud between Ali and Ricochet.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't realize that Ali and Ricochet had some banger matches on Main Event that is shown on the network and stuff. So there is a little bit of a rivalry there anyway, and they're going to go into that. They'll probably talk about those matches here and there, and then hopefully Ricochet winds up in Retribution.
Yeah, that would be better.
Because if you had Ricochet in Retribution, you could send those monsters out to watch him. Dijakovic can wrestle on his own. He's good. He can challenge for things. You send the other big guy out there with him. You can use the other big guy. You can use Dijakovic and the guy who
Dio Madden.
Dio Madden is not the one I'm talking about. I'm talking about
Slapjack.
You can use
Shane
don't do
Thorne.
that to me. You can use Shane Thorne and Dijakovic. Whatever their names are on the show currently. You could use them in a tag team and they could be formidable.
Yes.
You could use Madden to protect, much as you do the associate of AJ's with the other two guys. They could, Ali and Cedric could go in and out of feuds and wrestle people with the associate outside. It would be spectacular television.
Yeah.
There's no way
that's what they're going to do. No. Well, you got why is Retribution, just plot wise, why is Retribution attacking Ricochet? Because Ricochet's been such a shield for the WWE, right? I mean, they've put him over so much. He's such a wait, no, they spent the last year burying him.
Maybe they're showing him the error of his ways.
Keep selling it, buddy. You're gonna believe it.
You're right. But I can hope. And every now and then, twice a year or so, they correct their route. They corrected the route originally when they brought in Mustafa.
Yeah.
He wasn't in the plan. He was Hackerman.
Hackerman.
Yeah, which they've got to use that.
Yes.
Somewhere in here. Hackerman has to be utilized in a way that makes Retribution make sense, because if you can do that, then you can lose matches and still cause problems.
Yes, chaos is my goal.
What happened to that?
Yeah.
That was the last week. We couldn't bring that back this week?
No, we've forgotten.
It's long-term storytelling. When you forget to bring something up for 3 weeks, it's called long-term storytelling. Yes, okay.
This man forgot what he wrote last week.
Drew and Sheamus are together backstage. What good friends they are.
Yeah.
And Sheamus says, hey, man, maybe you ought to come in here and hook with me. We'll go join up with us on the team. We'll go in Survivor Series. You and I can start doing the thing together.
Uh-huh.
Plenty of opportunity for us. Drew says, no, by golly. I'm in the title picture, Sheamus. Yes. Which I'm guessing, I'm guessing that Drew is the one who gets, out of this title picture, right? Miz probably winds up somehow. Miz wins this belt.
Yeah.
Which is in contrast to everything we are about to see on this TV show.
Yes.
Somehow Miz winds up winning this belt. Drew winds up out of the picture and winds up into a feud with Sheamus, which gives us great television.
Oh, I can agree with that.
Miz with the belt running from The Fiend, who he's already had a feud with and lost.
Yes.
Gives us great television.
Or The Fiend goes after Randy Orton.
That happens first.
While The Miz has got the belt.
Correct. The Fiend probably winds up costing both Drew and Randy.
Yeah.
Everything. Fiend goes into a program with Randy because that's the most pertinent thing on the Fiend's mind. Winds up in a thing with Drew and then chases Miz, right?
Could be.
And I have just booked us through the greatest few months in WWE history.
But
that's not the boat we're riding on.
No, they're not, because they're going to keep.
We're on the good ship Lollipop.
They're going to keep.
No,
Randy.
we're on the SS Minnow.
That's true. That's more likely.
Gilligan stranded.
They're going to keep the belt on Randy so that Edge can take it off of him at Mania. So.
Yes. Okay. Or you wind up. Who knows when Edge comes back?
Yeah.
Somewhere near Edge has to happen, right? Boy, dream case scenario is. I'm just spitting some out. Dream case scenario for WWE. Edge comes back. Rock signs off for one night.
Yes.
And they get to have a stadium full of people for Mania. And their main events are Orton, Edge, Rock,
Roman.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great stuff.
Yeah. Man. Okay, anyway, I'm sorry about that. So we get Miz and Morrison versus Drew McIntyre. Miz and Morrison, being former tag team champions, dominate this match.
Singles champions in their own right.
Correct. They dominate this match. They pin Drew quickly.
He fights from down under for the whole match.
Yeah, they pin him quickly. He tries. He kicks out 2 or 3 times. It just doesn't work. The double teams are just too much for him.
Yeah.
We cut to credits. That is not what happened.
Not any of what happened.
No. What winds up happening is Drew just straight up beats them both senseless, pins them with no problem, and all of this match was to set up Randy Orton.
A 20-second spot.
Right.
Because Randy hits the RKO.
Absolutely.
Stands over him. The Fiend's music hits. Randy gives you the scared eyes. Which were great.
It was great. And then they lights go out and you're wondering what happens next. And
cuts credit.
A stupid TV show pops up next or whatever. But they had you.
Yeah, it did. Gotcha.
They had you. And I will say this. I made fun of this whole television show. I actually had a great time watching it.
Had a great time with a lot of it.
It was fun.
Yeah.
It was fun. And yeah, there was mess, but whatever. That's pro wrestling.
It's pro wrestling.
Right. And it was the kind of mess that you could, like I said, a good thread through a show.
What makes it all worth it, dude?
You can look over some stuff.
I can forgive a lot.
Absolutely.
If you got a good anchor in the middle.
Right. And it gives you a chance, too, when you have something that you say, okay, we're going to have, let's say, I don't know how many, you would say a 2-hour show probably has 9 segments.
Yeah.
A 3-hour show, with the way they try to throw things at you, it's probably like 30. But we'll narrow it down and say it's 15 segments. If I know 5 of them are going to be great,
I can put up with
35, 40 minutes of your show.
Yeah, I can put up with a lot.
Then I'm able to take what you're giving me, and you can throw things at me and adjust them down the road, and eventually it'll pay off.
Yeah.
If you're throwing things at me and nothing's good,
at
some point I'm just like, why am
I putting myself through this?
You conditioned me with Stone Cold and The Rock 30 years ago to watch this show with Shawn and Razor, to watch this show, Bastion Booger.
Oh, classics.
And I'm still conditioned to do this, so at 7 on Monday, I turn on my TV. You know what I mean? That's why I'm watching this. It's not because it's good. With this, it's because it's good.
Yeah, you got me.
Speaking of which, something that's been absolutely great, we're on to SmackDown. So we start this thing off with Sasha Banks, and they almost get to Sasha Banks and Bayley in a championship match to finish off this feud, and they give us about 22 minutes of wrestling and about 6 minutes worth of intro junk to let you know why this matters. And I thought it was great.
Yeah, amazingly enough, they started off this night with a wrestling match.
It was crazy. It kind of out of the box for a wrestling show to start with pro wrestling.
I know, not a 20-minute monologue.
Right. Well, to be fair, it's sports entertainment.
Yeah.
And you need to start the show off with the entertainment part.
Yeah.
Which the most entertaining thing about wrestling.
Is people talking at cameras.
Person alone standing in a ring, microphone in their hand.
Yes.
It doesn't get better than that.
No.
It's fired up. Okay, so Sasha's the aggressor early. We get what I loved about this match is, to me, as much as there's the new school physicality, athleticness is probably not a word, but athletic performances of these two modern female pro wrestlers.
Yeah.
There was a lot of clothesline, quick cover.
Yeah.
I hit my move, quick cover. And it wasn't like nowadays a lot of times you'll get I kicked you in the head 7 times, then I need you in the back of the head, and then I covered you and you kicked out. These were one move, you go down, I cover you because I want you to be tired because I know we're going a long way. To me, it had a Ricky Steamboat, Randy Savage feel to it.
The pacing was excellent.
Correct. The entire time. And of course, Sasha does all the things you know her for, the I'm going to do this and it's going to hurt me more than it hurts you stuff.
Bayley was so good.
Bayley's so good. Oh my God. She sells great. They are comfortable enough in the ring with each other that if they actually hit each other, it's okay, kind of.
Yeah, they're going to give it. Yeah,
no worries.
The way this match was set up, too, whoever did it did such a good job.
You're so right. Sasha has her outside of the ring for a power bomb, and then she conraded Sasha into the table, which swung the tide one way. Bayley wants to do the top rope elbow, and Sasha grabs the foot, throws her off. She hits a great frog splash. All these things, the kickouts, they both almost finished the match with each other's move.
Yeah, they did that.
Kendo stick for the distraction. She then to distract the ref, that opens up the chance for her to use the chair. And when Sasha kicks the chair out of her hand, 9 out of 10 times in a pro wrestling match, that turns into, I'm going to use the chair and I get DQ'd.
Yeah.
This time, Sasha wanted to finish this fair and square. She threw the thing into the Thunderdome crowd.
Yeah.
Shattering television sets.
All over the United States.
Correct. That might not have happened, but it could have.
Wish it had.
Yeah. We wound up with a backstabber and a Bayley to belly suplex. It just so freaking good. Bayley does wind up eventually hitting the elbow top rope thing. Bayley winds up with the bank statement on her. For a minute, she winds up rolling that over into some form of a jackknife. Sasha rolls that from the rope into a jackknife type of pin. Again, normally you crawl over there and you get your foot on the rope and they break the hold. This time she turned it into an aggressive move, which allows her to try to go for a face lock, which allows another counter.
Yeah, it was so many counter moves.
Yeah, now Bayley winds up with her outside of the ring. She's going to run and slant. She's going to basically shoulder tackle Sasha into the post, the ring post. Misses, of course, hits the ring post herself. Then we get the backstabber bank statement and the submitting tap, officially ending the rivalry.
You also had, too, Bayley ended up sitting when she bounced off the thing, and then they had her. She was sitting outside on the apron, exactly like Sasha was when Bayley turned on her, and Sasha's the one kicks her in the side of the head in that moment.
Right.
And then rolls her into the ring to hit her with the backstabber to the bank statement.
Great memory on your part. Great memory on you. They did give you both recalls of why this wrestler is important in general.
Yeah.
They let you know, we're such good friends. I know your move. You know my move. I not only can counter your move, I can actually do your move just like you do.
Yes.
Right? It was so well done. And then the way a rivalry like this should end, which I personally believe this is a historic rivalry.
I believe so too.
The way this rivalry should end is a tap out. You should submit.
Yes.
Or you should be unconscious. And it shouldn't have to be an I Quit match.
No.
This was perfect.
Yeah.
And it was 20-something minutes.
Yeah, it was great.
So well done. And then as Sasha's celebrating up the rope, Mella in a lot, I don't know if it was a lot or a little leather, depending on how you looked at it.
Yes.
But it was a lot to absorb when you saw her. She winds up attacking Sasha and does the little, that's X-Pac's finisher, right?
Yes.
It's the Bulldog?
No, it's
Bronco. No, the Bronco's when he puts his junk in their face.
Yes.
What is that called? What's
the X Factor?
That's terrible that I'm not remembering that. It'll pop into my head as soon as I quit thinking about it. But yes, she hits that on the top of the stage, and we have a new rivalry. So now we know for a fact. I do kind of like the fact, too, that they start a new rivalry right on the end of this match so that they know we're not going to be dealing with Bayley and Sasha anymore. It really is over.
Yeah, they tell me.
Because we got to a point there 4 weeks ago where it was like, God, are they going to keep wrestling each other? And then we get this amazing Hell in a Cell match.
Well, we've gotten so many of those feuds right now in WWE where they've kept things going way too long. It finally feels like they're moving things on a little bit.
We'll get there.
Yeah, we're about to get there.
Okay. Jey Uso is getting Roman's coffee, or at least that's what Kevin's joke implies. And Kevin gets in on him pretty good here, and Uso is Jay's not one to be trifled with. So he lets him know that, and Kevin says, hey, man, we're just on the same team. I've made mistakes, but at least they were mine. Actually, that winds up being his promo later.
Yeah.
He does just say kind of, I was just kidding with you, man. And maybe you should switch to decaf.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
chill out a little
You're
bit.
a little on edge, I can see. And so he walks off. We come back. This is going to be tough on the Survivor Series team, though, obviously. Now, when we come back, Kayla wants to interview Jey, and he's complying, which you would think would be a work requirement.
Yeah.
However, he's interrupted by Paul Heyman, and now Kayla wants to get in on the making fun of Jey act and says, I guess that Paul is in a better spot with Roman than you. And so, Jey does the, you got jokes type thing.
Yeah.
Walks off. And then we wind up with Roman. Then we wind up
Heyman brings him to Roman.
Yes, and Roman is letting them know the chain of command clearly here. He lets him know, if you want to do an interview, Jey, you come talk to me. I heard you were doing an interview out there. I also heard that Kevin Owens was making fun of me and maybe making fun of you.
No, making fun of you, and if he's making fun of you, he's making fun of our family.
Correct.
Yeah.
I got that backwards. I apologize.
Yeah.
And if he's going to do that, he's making fun of our whole bloodline, and he's making fun of what we are in this company.
Yeah.
So he's making fun of the company. He's making fun of the hierarchy. He's making fun of our heritage. All of it. You need to fix this. I'll take care of it, Oos. He walks away without even turning to Paul.
Never looks at him.
I don't even think he calls Paul by his name.
No.
You knew about this. I heard about it as it was going on. That was even worse than knowing about it. Because you were supposed to know about it before. You're supposed
That's
to know
what
about
I brought you
everything before. And he said, go get Adam Pearce. I'll set up a match. So not only has Paul been reduced to rumor follower.
Yeah.
Errand boy.
Henchman.
Yes. Jey has been reduced to fighting these battles that have nothing really to do with him.
Yeah.
And getting Roman coffee. And Adam Pearce has been reduced to the yes man who books the matches Roman wants.
Exactly. Roman's running the show.
Iron Fist, baby.
Roman
I love it. And like we said, when you have a common thread through a show, that is great. You can make mistakes.
Yeah.
And we're about to get to those. Rey Mysterio, that's called a segue into biz,
That was
baby.
beautiful.
Yes. Rey Mysterio is trying to find Alea on the phone. Dom says you have a match to get ready for, and King Corbin is kind enough to help him get ready for the match.
Remind him who his opponent is.
Getting his head in the game.
Yeah, or into a box, one of the two.
Yes, he beats him up pretty good backstage and makes his way to the ring. Rey takes a beating during the match that he has with Corbin. Here, this is a match to determine who is on our Survivor Series SmackDown team. There's little back and forth. Early, Rey does flip the script a couple of times. Once when he flips the script, Corbin rolls out of the ring.
Mm-hmm.
I want to point out that Corbin does watch enough wrestling to have done a Strongest Man Slam.
Yes.
A Mark Henry callback, which
Yes.
I'm in favor of everyone doing Mark Henry callbacks whenever they can. Okay, he slides out of the ring. He sucker punches Dom. Seth has come out.
Seth has been watching from the
to
top.
distract, and he helps when he does enough to get someone's attention whenever Corbin falls behind.
Mm-hmm.
Seth being man enough here to get over the fact that Baron Corbin almost planted his wife 7 feet into the ground one time.
Yes.
On a black hole slam.
Yep, that happened.
But he got over it.
Forgiving.
Yes, that's
Messiah is a forgiving.
Yeah, evidently. Then as Ray begins to get things going his way again, Seth attacks Dom. Ray attacks Seth. Seth is smart enough not to fight back to DQ the match and put him on the team. He absorbs the punishment here. And then, of course, Ray winds up going back into the ring and walking into an end of days. 1, 2, 3. Seth is incredibly happy here. Also, Alea and Murphy had come down to help the situation, which also distracted Ray.
Get out of here!
So the sins of the father here are coming back to haunt him in so many ways.
Yeah.
It was at no point in time in this last 10 months we've been watching this rivalry. Maybe 3 years. It feels like. At no point in time was it bring your kids to work day.
No, it was not.
But he did it anyway.
He did. He brought this on himself.
He forced us into this.
Yeah.
This is not Seth's fault.
No.
Seth is the voice of a company tired of people bringing their kids to work because we're supposed to be working.
Yeah.
This is a pretty loose environment. WWE's famous for being a loose environment, allowing you to do whatever you want.
Yeah. Dominic's not in NXT. He's up here taking time away from... Brought your kid to work so he can take time away from people with real jobs.
What do you do when somebody brings their kid to work? You beat them with kendo sticks.
I think so.
No. Okay, anyway.
That's you keep from stealing your job.
Yes, and we do wind up having an announcement for the match that Roman set up. Qualifying match. Natty versus Zelina Vega versus Ruby Riott to see who was on Team SmackDown. This was like 145 seconds maybe.
Yeah.
It was great.
It was great for this short amount of time it was on.
Could you give me 5 minutes?
Why not?
Somewhere in them 3 segments, we could have cut that down just a hair.
A slight bit.
Yes, but no.
Clever finish, though. Natty puts Selena in the sharpshooter. Thinks she's got it won.
Ruby slides in, puts the crossface.
And Natty removes the sharpshooter, thinking she's won, and then Selena taps to the crossface, and the ref has to explain to Natty, no, you did not win.
Yeah, and if this is 4 minutes, it's amazing.
Yes.
You didn't have to give me 10 of it.
No.
Just get this style action for 4 or 5 minutes would have been great instead of just what we got. And maybe it was 4 minutes. It felt like it was a minute and a half. Okay. Then we get the Street Profits and Big E backstage, and they are quite funny, but they are not nearly as fun. Oh, if you lay down, Kofi and Woods won't beat you up so bad. What's his advice?
Let's give Big E credit for his Texas Chainsaw Massacre sweater that he had on.
Thank you. It was a cardigan.
Yes.
I didn't know those were out there.
I didn't know it was out there either, but now I do.
And I definitely didn't know that there were cardigan sweaters, Texas Chainsaw cardigan sweaters out there that you could wrap around a bulldozer.
Yeah.
And they exist.
That's a lot of wool.
Yes. It's got to be hot. Okay, but he didn't wear a shirt, so that helps. Then Billie Kay comes out to let these guys know, and Billie Kay we've got her in comedy skits backstage now, so thank you, God.
Yeah.
She's not going to go away. I love her. She's so funny.
We were at Raw the same time you were.
She lets them know that she could help in these SmackDown matches because she was on Raw. Yeah. To which the Street Profits, as you so duly noted, mentioned that they know they were there as well. And Billie Kay may have been a little self-absorbed to have missed that part.
Yes.
Which is great. Okay, Seth versus Otis, and
oh man, speak your mind on this match.
Okay, guys, Otis comes out. He's not laughing. He's not happy.
No.
He's not sad. He's just out. And go ahead, Ray.
I'm here, by the way. I don't think we announced that.
Yeah.
I'm back. This match was so perplexing. This was right around the time I walked in. Otis, he was mad, but he wasn't like trying to be funny, so it was kind of confused. He was kind of confused with what he was supposed to be. That's what I got through the character, but I don't think that was like intentional. I think he was supposed to be angry, but I couldn't tell because for like 4 years since NXT, you've been building up that this guy is a comedy character.
And all his signature stuff is comedy gimmick.
And you're trying to
Correct.
do like, okay, I know what they're trying to do with Otis. They're trying to kind of make him a little.
They
Big
don't know
E.
what they're trying to do with their Otis.
I think they've lost it.
They're kind of
Tugboat.
make him. They're trying to like make him a little bit of Big E, but the thing is, Big E, when he was in NXT, he was serious, and even after he showed up, he was serious. And when he's being funny, you know that he could still beat you up.
And you know that about Otis too. See, here's the problem, and I'll just say this one thing: if Seth Rollins is in a ring with you, and it's not fantastic, it ain't Seth.
99% of the time it's not.
You know what I mean? And Seth was out there, and he's doing what he can. He's selling. I mean, you know, when Otis throws him, he's jumping, and combined with Otis's strength, he's traveling 4 feet in the air.
Yeah, he is.
He's doing all he can. He's kicking Otis in the stomach. And I get that Otis is impenetrable. But when you start gyrating your way out of physicality, and there's nothing fun, like you're not in a tag team
funny.
match, there's no
Yeah.
comedy routine involved, it doesn't make sense.
It hasn't been funny for like all of quarantine.
But, well, and to your point, that has to do with a lack of crowd.
Yes.
Right? There's nothing for him to hearken on. You can't Hulk up when there's nobody to Hulk up to.
Like,
Yeah.
Right?
Like before then, me and Dad, I thought, like, on this podcast, we were like, the crowd pops for this, but what is this going to do in the long run?
Right.
This is what it does in the long run.
And thankfully, Murphy comes down and saves us all because we were about to get a caterpillar
Yeah.
and distracts Otis. Otis runs over to punch Murph.
Well, Murphy kind of stands out there on the outside for a while, and Seth doesn't know why he's there. Otis doesn't know why he's there.
Exactly.
And then right when Otis is about to get over on Seth, he jumps up on the apron just for a second.
Mm-hmm.
Otis comes after him. Seth gets the win.
Gets the kick and the stomp. And I don't know where Odie goes. I don't know where he goes, but
I don't know if he can go.
you just, I feel like they have to, at least for the time being, either have him be happy-go-lucky Otis or have him stop the gyrating until he has an excuse to be happy-go-lucky Otis again.
Yes.
It's okay to, that's the thing too with the WWE and just pro wrestling in general. Everybody has their spots
Yeah.
that you're known for. And if you get a Seth match, you're going to get a sling blade, you're going to get suicide dives. That's what got him to the dance on their level. You know what I mean? At the WWE Shield stuff, right?
But that doesn't mean you can't change that stuff and modify it and get different stuff.
Or just don't do it every now and then.
Yeah,
if it doesn't fit the character, and at this moment in time with Otis, it does not fit who he needs to be.
No.
He's lost his girlfriend. They've stolen his money in the bank briefcase. His best friend dumped him. Why is he rubbing his belly?
Yeah.
Why would he want to do a caterpillar? He should be out there wanting to. Seth's not a good guy. You think he's
No.
okay with what he's seen Seth do?
No.
Even though Seth ain't the guy he's got a problem with, Seth represents the kind of crap he doesn't like.
Yep.
So why would he want to beat Seth's butt? Why, when he's wrestling the Miz for his briefcase, is he doing this shtick?
It doesn't make any sense.
And you can substitute a different word for shtick if you want
Yeah.
to. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I got on one there. But anyway, so Seth runs down Murphy, and he's like, hey, man, tell me I saw what I think I saw. Please tell me I saw what I think I saw. And Murphy points at his chest and says, Messiah. He points at his own chest and says, disciple. He says, say it again. He points at Seth's chest, Messiah. Points at his own chest, disciple. We have work to do together. I knew you would come back to the fate. The greater good will be served. And he marches off because Seth has a new plan to figure out how to change the world.
Yes.
Alea is beside herself. She cannot believe this is actually happening.
Betrayal.
She runs to Murphy, and Murphy says, trust me, this is for the greater good. And that can absolutely be interpreted as Seth's greater good. It is not. Murphy is going to cost Seth the Survivor Series somehow or another
And it's totally
in an
not.
attempt to get under the good graces of
The
future father-in-law Rey Mysterio.
Yes.
Which is the wrong way to go, because if you have to work that hard for cynical Rey Mysterio to accept you dating his 19-year-old daughter when you're almost 40, is it really worth it?
32 is not almost 40, but yeah, your points will take it.
I think he's older than that. Where's he from?
It's
He's
Australia.
from Australia.
Their birth certificates are nothing.
They stay young like
Probably
forever.
a convict too, like the rest of them.
Whoa, I didn't say all that. That's not a knife.
Wait a minute.
This is a knife. Paul Hogan.
Paul Hogan.
If you are not old enough to have watched a Crocodile Dundee movie, read about him, don't watch him.
No.
What a period of time that was.
Yes.
Time to be alive, as they say.
Time to be alive.
Sidebar.
Yes.
I'm not sure how Buddy Murphy gets into his shirts. I think your pores have to breathe, and I do not know if that's possible.
I don't know. It seems like a very convoluted process.
And how can Seth, who doesn't wear a shirt right now,
yes.
be in a faction with Buddy, who can barely get his shirt on? I don't. There's a
Poor continuity.
Seth should know that this isn't going to work.
I think they have to sew Murphy's clothes on around him.
Correct. Like the fireman going on the pole.
Yeah.
You just kind of fall into your pants
Either that or some lady sews up the seams on the edges for you while you stand there.
like a suitcase.
Yes. Like you zip him up in it.
Okay, so for the absolute segment of the night, we have Michael Cole in an interview, and Lars Sullivan actually has a new tag team partner. He's called Deviated Septum.
Yeah, dude.
Lars
Okay.
does the craziest promo ever here, where
Heads
he
up.
go ahead.
This is the worst segment of the week, maybe the month.
He winds up saying that he was bullied as a child, therefore he started lifting weights, gained 50 pounds in 18 months of muscle, and began to bully other people, making them eat dirt, glass,
Bugs.
and bugs, and this made him happy, and he laughs. All of this could be fairly forgivable in a bland, generic, Schnitzky, I'm a bad guy promo.
Did you have to bring up Schnitzky?
Right. And I'm a bad guy promo thing.
Yeah.
But someone said people, when they're angry, breathe incredibly deeply through their nose. And he took that to heart in a way that I've never quite witnessed.
No, it was epic, dude.
It was, it was crazy. It was like I was listening and I was thinking,
I was uncomfortable.
I really think he needs to get some time off and get that worked on.
Yes.
There's no way he can breathe when he sleeps.
CPAP machine, something.
What was his-
CPAP machine ain't gonna fix that.
I didn't even like his last promo that much. I think you thought it was tolerable. I thought his last promo was also bad. Why is he shirtless?
That was a great question I had. Why's the man got no shirt on?
Well, if you're going to intimidate someone else that's sitting 2 to 3
Why do you need to intimidate
2
Michael
feet
Cole?
away from you?
Yeah.
What?
If you're going to do that, the best way to do it is to show up shirtless and breathe through your nose. His septum has a road sign in it that says right turn.
Yes.
What?
Wow.
What?
That thing is crazy. Okay, we'll move on though.
It was
KO promo here where
Abysmal.
he says I've done a lot of bad things, but those are all my decisions. At least I wasn't doing somebody else's bidding for them. And he's a great talker.
Oh,
so
dude.
great. And then we have a very good Kevin Owens Jey Uso match. Jay is working very well here. Heyman comes down for the distraction to get Jay out of trouble once. Then Roman's music hits later when Kevin Owens begins to after he's already hit a pop-up power bomb, and Jay was able to Jay bounces high, lands by the ropes, gets his foot on the rope to stop it, which was perfect. Then the music hits, and as the music hits, in chorus with the bass line of Roman's song, Jey Uso rings Kevin Owens' chimes with his forehead.
Yes.
Headbutt to the old balls.
Yes.
Then we get
Classic maneuver.
the classic headbutt to the balls, super kick, flying Uso combo for the 1-2-3 finish. Jay goes to the top of the stage, and the bloodline continues.
I like this, dude. Everything about this was great.
What a wrestling week we had.
Yeah.
And as much as I complained, it was fun.
No, and Roman Reigns is so at the top of his game right now.
He's probably the best thing in wrestling.
Oh, yeah. Never thought I'd say that.
No, there's a whole world that didn't think they'd say that. I'm a Roman. I like Roman. Liked him. A lot of people didn't. I liked him as what he was, but I didn't have him. I didn't think he'd ever be Cena.
Yeah.
I definitely didn't ever think he'd be Hollywood Hogan.
No.
And I'm not talking about the Hollywood Hogan you guys are all mad at, or the Hulkster. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about at that moment in time when he goes heel for the next 2 years.
Yeah.
As bad as his matches were. He was the heel in pro wrestling besides Vince McMahon.
Yes, he was.
And I could argue that his matches were slightly better than Vince's.
Slightly. I never saw him tear both quads.
Well, you'd have to move to tear your quads.
Yes, you would.
And Hogan was not going to do it.
Hogan wasn't going to put anybody over by moving.
There was a point where people were having to hook slide into that big boot. Okay, but man, I had a good time this week for the Go Home Heat Kid Ray, for my man Jushin, for me KP. This has been a Go Home Heat production.
Jushin Thunderbrain?
I'm here.
Copyright
Still here.
2020. Go home.